Good afternoon, my vino friends. Welcome to your video spotlight. My name is Christina. For those who haven't spent time here before, I am ready to sip away with you today. I have a stellar wine share picked out for our club members, and this has been archived in our cellar, waiting for me to walk by and just say, "Hello, lovely," which I have done. Onto the vino. Okay, this is quite a tackling of the Petite Sirah grape. Vina Robles, family estate owned, generational, sustainable, certified, in practice facility. This is a step above organic. There's so much about SIP certified winery and vineyards. It would take me way more time than I have to share. So I will say that it is a quality, rigorous, and amazing process. I highly recommend you find out more about it. All 6 of their estate vineyards at Vina Robles are SIP certified. It is most impressive. If you want to know more, I'm going to put a link below in our text under the video. So Vina Robles Estate, I'll show you the bottle a couple of times again, is really a dream come true for a Swiss immigrant named Hans Neff. With hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and family hands-on, he built this estate in the 1990s, late 90s, into what it is today. And tragically and sadly, he recently passed away in 2019. It was actually about a year after this vintage was bottled in 2018, and also a year after their full facility upgrade was complete. But his family is carrying on the legacy. So Paso Robles, it is directly between LA and San Francisco. It's in San Luis Obispo County, and their terroir is extremely diverse, but it is especially noticeable in wines from that appellation, more so than a lot of other wines, I think, from California. Now, this wine in particular, this Petite Sirah, is handpicked clusters. It's pressed, racked, fermented, and French oak barrel aged. They take a portion of that and split it off between American and Hungarian oak barrels. And this really adds a lot of layers and depth to the wine, especially with the power a Petite Sirah can pack. And after all of that, after that blending and that 8 months of aging this way, they take that blend and they put it all together and barrel it and age it again for another 12 months before bottling. So I have to say that they really got it right when they mentioned that this wine has complexity, structure, balance, and richness. It is really all there. It is a sipping wine. It is a food wine. I'm going to do it right now. This wine is full-bodied. It's black, brambleberry. There's some caramel nuances in there, which is a little bit unusual, but a creamy finish. And I'm going to say it. It reminds me of lying down on grandma's favorite crushed velvety sofa pillow. And it kind of, in my mouth, feels like my favorite pair of velour pants that I like to put on when I go dancing. So yes, I said that, but it's true. If you're ready to drink, I know you're going to tell me how much you love this wine. We have it marked off at 25% just for you, our members. It's normally $30 a bottle. That is not a lot for a great bottle of California wine. That is not a lot for this bottle, but it's well worth it at the cost, and marked off 25%. It's about $22. And I'm trying hard. I'm going to try hard not to buy what we have in stock so you can try it for yourself. To keep that in mind. But this vintage 2018, it's a wonderful vintage. It's robust from the heart of California. It's definitely ripe and luscious. You need this wine. I need this wine. Oh, I want to sip this wine again and again. VINA Robles Petite Sirah on the Wine Concierge site for members only, $22 at the discounted price. I'll put the link below again, and it's also in your email. So that's going to bring me to the Petite Sirah grape. I was looking for a question, and we actually got a question about Syrah. Here it is, sent in from Shane. And Shane stopped by our booth at the Fredericksburg Expo, which was hosted by the Virginia Black Business Directory this past weekend. Shane is asking to get some clarification on the differences of Syrah, the name, and the wine. So, okay, Shane, it will be my pleasure. Here's a basic rundown. You have Sirah and Shiraz and Petite Sirah. All three spelt differently. Some important characteristics. Syrah, S-Y-R-A-H, and Shiraz are genetically the same grape, but the wines they produce are very different in style depending on the region of origin. Syrah, S-Y-R-A-H, is typically Old World Europe, New World Americas. It can be big and powerful, yet lean and elegant. And then you have Shiraz, the same grape, spelled and pronounced differently, and that is typically from Australia. So these wines tend to be bigger, bolder, often more intense in color and flavor profile, and a little bit spicier. Syrah and Shiraz are both deep purple, dark-skinned grapes. They're generally concentrated. They have medium to firm tannins, and the grape clusters are a bit looser, but they're larger than that of Petite Sirah, even though they are concentrated. The Syrah Shiraz has a parent. This is the same grape, and it comes from two obscure grapes, one called Dureza and the other called Mandus Blanche from southern France. It's near the Swiss and Italian borders. And at some point, Shiraz plantings were cut and brought into Australia from France. And that hotter climate and varied soils, it actually merged well with the thicker skin grape, but it produces something completely different from its sister Syrah. If you can say that 10 times in a row, whether or not you've been enjoying it, I will be entirely impressed, because 25 years and I still get it mixed up. So Petite Sirah. Now I'm going to get a little bit close so you can actually see the spelling on that. This close here. You can see it's spelled S-I-R-A-H, Petite Sirah. So this is actually the common spelling of Petite Sirah. It is not the same grape as Shiraz and Syrah, but it has genetic relations. So Petite Sirah was first brought to the U.S. about the late 1880s, and its offspring, it is an offspring of the Syrah and Pelorsin grapes, P-E-L-O-U-R-S-I-N. Now, outside of the U.S. and in the old world, you will see Petite Sirah. You might also see it called by the name of Durif, D-U-R-I-F. That's after the name of the man who discovered it. And it originated in the Rhone-Alps region of France. Now, again, that Petite Sirah, S-I and S-Y, it might be spelled different, but that itself is the same grape. Now, there is one thing that's kind of noticeable about this. You see, this glass has a really good hue. It's already coated the glass with a beautiful hue. It's inkier. Petite Sirah is way more concentrated. It's more robust and full-bodied. It's more peppery. It has a lot of firm tannins, and it requires good care, but it ages really well. The clusters are very small and dense, very tiny, and it's almost black in color. You will tend to see Petite Sirah focused in production mainly in the US, but it does have a lot of common blending in southern France. So for your tip today, I want to suggest adding a particular technique to how you taste. And in particular, each time you open a bottle of wine first and try that first sip. I call it the 3-sip rule, and I highly promote it. It's something that I invented myself. The 3-sip rule is the shocker, the prep, and then the taste. Now, this is part of my signature water in the boat tasting technique, but you won't learn about that until a little bit later when we do our members feature tasting. So back to the 3-sip part. I want you to think mouthfeel. Now, I know I've said this before, and some of you might remember that most people will first react to a wine, choose a wine, or decide whether or not they like a wine, not by the taste, but first by the mouthfeel, how it feels, how it settles on the palate. Think of things like packed away in a cedar chest, okay? You have to open them out and air them out before using them. Often you want to do this with your first sip of wine. It's like that astringent feeling that you get from OJ really early in the morning. It can shock your palate. Your palate's very closed off. And to be receptive and experience what a wine has to offer, it needs to open. Your palate needs to open. You need some preparation for it. So I always recommend never decide on a wine in the first 2 sips. Take 3. Your taste buds need to awaken. So shocker, first sip. Now, second sip is a prep. You're coating your mouth. You're waking up your taste buds. The third sip is where your taste buds are kind of perked up and ready to go. Show me the wine. And the third sip is the taste. The shocker, the prep, the taste. 3 sips. Now, open up that bottle. Take the 3 sips. Feel the wine. Feel how it brushes over your palate. Chew it a second or two like you would a gum. Let it move around and coat the inside of your mouth. You may or may not think that the wine is improved, and that's all personal preference. It's okay. But what I can tell you is that you will experience more. You will feel and taste more of the wine than you ever did before. Now, go get some VINA Robles Petite Sirah and Que Sirah, my friends. Cheers and be well.